The movie begins with Laura and Igor, two kids, sitting in the backseat of their parents' car, listening to the radio news. The news announces that a large meteor, 45 tons and half a kilometer long, will pass close to Earth's path. Igor, a curious 8-year-old, gives his father a fallen tooth, excited by the novelty of it. However, his father seems worried about the meteor announcement, finding it suspicious how the news repeatedly assures that the meteors are harmless. The meteor is expected to pass within 24 hours. Their father drops Lera off at school, wishing her luck. Unlike other girls, Lera dresses modestly for a game, which catches Misha's attention. With a strategic plan, Lera manages to lead the race until Misha's firecracker startles her near the finish line, causing her to lose the race. Lera attends Igor's birthday party later, where their stepfather happily announces the impending arrival of a new baby. When the birthday cake is brought out with candles, Lera, fearing fainting, walks away, causing others to view her differently, thinking she's unhappy with her family. Lera's mother follows her to reason with her, but Lera ignores her, focused on her phone ringing. Simultaneously, Lera's astronaut father, Arabov, tries to explain Lera's actions to her mother, describing what happened during the race. Lera knows her father is watching her from the city's surveillance cameras on a space station and resents it. Arabov feels relieved seeing Lera, but is warned by an AI assistant, Me, that using city cameras is illegal. To cover his tracks, Arabov commands Me to erase his communications and enjoys some music and candy. His companion on the space station discovers Arabov's communication history and frowns at his illegal actions. Arabov, understandably, longs for his family after 6 years in space, but sadly notes that he has no family waiting for him. Back on Earth, the chief contacts the astronauts and learns that the passing meteorites could pose a greater threat than anticipated, potentially altering their trajectory towards Earth. While some areas are advised for evacuation, the chief, dismissing the advice due to the minimal chances of deviation, decides against any action. Misha tries to uplift Lera's spirits, sharing food and joking with his prosthetic arm, successfully bringing a smile to her face. As they gaze at the meteorite in the night sky, Lera disagrees with Misha's belief that the meteorites could destroy Earth. Lera shares her room with 8-year-old Igor, who wishes to see a shooting star but can't skip school. Lera, feeling for him, lends him her binoculars so he can watch the meteorites passing near Earth, bringing him immense joy. As the time approaches for the meteorite to pass, everyone on Earth and the space station watches anxiously. Igor's parents drop him off at school, unaware he's hiding the binoculars, planning to skip school to see the stars. Arabov and his fellow astronauts share the news that the meteorites have shifted course towards the space station, hitting it in just 7 minutes. Moreover, a multitude of meteorites will soon rain down on Earth, leaving them little time to launch escape pods. Arabov urgently contacts Lera through Me, warning her of the impending danger and pleading for her to run. The sky is raining rocks and massive destruction has already begun. Falling rocks demolish Lera's building, causing people to flee in extreme panic. Lera makes her way to the first floor and jumps onto the road. A desperate woman asks for help to reach her baby, and Misha, rescuing the child, joins Lera in running to safety. Suddenly, a wall collapses on Misha, while a car hits Lera, rendering her unconscious. The occupants of the car place Lera in the back seat and start driving, distracted by the chaos around them. Lera regains consciousness due to the commotion, prompting them to ask her to leave the car in a panic. Lera hides on the top floor, but as she enters, the structure collapses. In his subconscious, Arabov sees Lera trapped in an elevator and wakes up. Me informs him that everyone else on the space station has died, leaving him as the sole survivor. Arabov urgently wants to know which areas are affected by meteorites, feeling anxious about Lera's safety. Meanwhile, the chief advises Arabov to prepare for evacuation, but Arabov refuses, determined to help Lera from the space station. He commands Me to locate Lera. 6 years earlier, Lera pleads for Arabov's help as she's trapped in the elevator. Despite his efforts, Arabov can't open the door, and Lera watches as cables spark and switches melt inside the elevator. In increasing panic, Arabov finally manages to connect with Lera, who is buried under rubble. He instructs her to reach for a teddy bear equipped with an internal microphone and camera, so they can communicate through it. Arabov reassures Lera that her mom and stepfather are safe and Igor's schoolmates were rescued, but Lera knows he wasn't at school. According to Arabov's information, the building where Igor was supposed to be is 87% destroyed. Someone helps Lera emerge from under the rubble and directs her towards the camp. Arabov calls Lera's mom, informing her that Lera is safe and connecting them. Mom confirms that they're unsure of Igor's whereabouts, but the rescue team is bringing every student to the camp. Realizing Igor isn't at school, Lera decides to search for him in the building and starts running towards it despite Arabov's warnings. Mira refuses to use further power, saving some for the evacuation of an escape pod. However, Arabov, determined to help, ventures into space and connects the broken wires to a separate wing of the station using the way's limited length. With difficulty, he reaches the batteries and connects the power cable. Meanwhile, Lera finally hears Igor's voice as he jumps into her arms in the building. Mia guides them towards the safest exit route as the building rapidly collapses. With no time to spare, they opt for the hole where the meteorite struck. Igor sits on Lera's back as they both descend through the hole, eventually reaching the ground floor and successfully escaping the collapsing building. Mia warns Arabov that they must prepare the escape pod in a few minutes. Losing connection with Lera, Arabov fears the worst, believing her to be dead. However, as soon as Lera and Igor run out of the building, the connection falls. They keep running and find refuge in a shop to catch their breath. Curiously, Igor notices that Lera doesn't refer to Arabov as dad when talking to him. Lera shares a childhood memory of moving to a new house where she got stuck in a broken elevator, resulting in burns on her body. After that traumatic incident, her father distanced himself from her. Holding hands, Lera and Igor continue walking through the extremely dusty atmosphere. Suddenly, they hear car horns honking and lights blinking in a pattern, seemingly guiding them. Igor suggests that since they've lost communication with Arabov through the teddy bear, this could be his way of connecting and showing them the way. Trusting Igor's intuition, Lera follows the blinking lights. As they pass through shimmering lights and signs, Arabov enjoys guiding Lera and Igor to safety, looking at Lera's picture fondly. Suddenly, a loud bang separates Igor from them, and Arabov's screen shows a warning. It turns out a tanker has exploded, but thankfully, Igor survives. Mia warns of the risk of another tanker blast, which could devastate half the city. Meanwhile, Lera takes Igor to a medical camp, but amidst the chaos and numerous casualties, no one attends to Igor. Determined to find safety, Lera runs towards a helicopter, pleading for them to take them to a safer area. Despite being pushed away, a prosthetic hand opens the helicopter door and Misha jumps out, placing Igor inside before joining Lera. The chief warns Arabov to evacuate and prioritize his own safety. However, Arabov, angered by the thought of leaving Lera alone in such an emergency, refuses to abandon her. When the chief fails to assure him of helping save Lera, Arabov ends the call, determined to help his daughter from space. Using Misha's phone, he connects with Lera, surprising him with his ability to reach her from anywhere. Arabov urgently warns Lera to leave the city immediately and run as fast as she can because he can save her, but not the entire town in this crisis. However, Misha disagrees with leaving someone behind in a tragedy and advocates for running as far as they can, echoing Arabov's actions. With a raging anger in her heart from the memories of being burnt in the elevator, Lera decides to take drastic action and heads towards the big tanker, determined to save the whole city. In a symbolic gesture of defiance, she throws the phone into the river, cutting off Arabov's warnings. Feeling powerless and helpless, Arabov believes he has failed to save his daughter once again. Tearfully, he calls Lera's mom, apologizing for his perceived failure and remembering how she blamed him for Lera's burns 6 years ago. Despite his despair, Lera's mom encourages Arabov to continue searching for Lera, reminding him that he is the only one capable of saving her now. Lera and Misha board a ship to reach the big tanker. Amidst laughter, Misha recounts how a firecracker destroyed his arm, amazing Lera, who tries to conceal her own burns from him. They climb inside the tanker using a ladder and enter through a hatch. The engine area is engulfed in flames, threatening to engulf the entire tanker. Their mission? To extinguish the fire and save the city. Despite Lera's panic at the sight of the flames, they press on, relying on Arabov's guidance. Misha repairs the teddy bear, restoring connectivity, and they proceed deeper into the tanker. As they descend the stairs to shut down the engine, Lera breaks down in tears. Meanwhile, in space, a wire connected to the batteries on the space station breaks, putting the area into hibernation mode. Arabov, determined to resume connection at any cost, decides to shut down Mia and use the reserve power, sacrificing his chance to return to Earth. In the escape pod, Arabov disconnects Mia and reconnects with Lera. Using Misha's prosthetic hand, he symbolically holds Lera's hand, expressing his remorse for not being able to save her in the elevator and acknowledging his perpetual guilt. As Lera cries, she admits to missing him dearly every moment. Arabov gently caresses Lera's face one last time, instructing Mia to equip the IR suit and venture into the fire to activate the manual switch. Despite his space station crumbling around him, Arabov continues to encourage Lera, and together, they sing a childhood song. With tears in her eyes, Lera enters the flames, imagining Arabov's presence guiding her. Arabov gazes at his family picture one last time, preparing for his imminent demise and expressing a wish to reunite with his family in another world. Meanwhile, Lera rotates the gear, triggering a shower and extinguishing the fire. As Misha regains consciousness, they reach the top floor of the ship. Lera reunites with her mom, stepdad, and Igor at a medical camp. Embracing her stepdad for the first time, she accepts him as a father figure. Beside them, Igor opens his eyes and expresses joy that his wish for Lera's return, made while gazing at the stars, has come true. Lera hugs him tightly, filled with love, and they begin their journey as a happy family. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon.